For BamaCentral.com, I'm Mathey Gibson. That's Will Miller. This weekend, number 11 Alabama versus number 15 Tennessee, and it's a battle of the quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe versus Joe Milton. Will, what are you expecting out of these two quarterbacks?
Well, I'm expecting a barn burner similar to last season. I think these teams are going to go out there and wear it all on their sleeve and leave it all out on the field. This rivalry has been intensified so much just by the result of one game last season, and that's naturally going to extend to the quarterbacks. Two guys that have had a lot of talk about them for different reasons. Joe Milton, one of the biggest arms in the country. We've seen how far he can sling it. Jalen Milroe, who seems to be coming along week by week and really cementing his role as this Alabama starting quarterback. Both guys meet at an interesting point in the season, both teams with one loss, the difference being that Tennessee's loss is in conference play, so there are greater ramifications for Tennessee should they lose this game. But lots of interesting wrinkles, but the quarterback battle I think is a big one, and we're definitely going to learn a lot about Jalen Milroe this weekend, but I think we could learn just as much about Joe Milton.
Yeah, no, I think Milton has been a guy that has kind of fallen short of expectations this season. I mean, coming in, Milton was viewed as a guy that could be a Heisman candidate, and point blank, he has not been that this season. I believe 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a little over 1,300 yards. I think with Milton, it's just the accuracy has not been there for him. Downfield accuracy has not been there for the most part. We know he has a cannon, but he's not been able to hit his receivers in stride down the field. He's not been able to do a ton of intermediate passing, kind of similar struggles to Milroe himself. But they both are threats with their legs. Milroe, very similar numbers with rushing yards. He's got 173 yards, 4 touchdowns. Milroe with 139 yards and 5 touchdowns. And again, Milroe is definitely more of a threat with his legs. But I think that's also a testament to how bad the Alabama offensive line has been, because we know how much of a threat Miller is with his legs, but the numbers still show that he's not been as good as Milton, when the eye test would tell you that Milroe is much more of an offensive threat than Milton is.
You brought up the deep ball, and Joe Milton's throwing ability perhaps his strongest attribute when it comes to launching it downfield, but that's been a strength for Jalen Milroe this season, as it was even at the beginning of the year when those intermediate passes weren't finding their mark, which is one area that's kind of ramped up in terms of accuracy and improvement for Jalen Milroe, but he's always been able to throw it deep. And I think that both quarterbacks are going to do that. They're going to sell out and take those shots as a matter of who's going to catch them. Well, that's secondary. It just has to be somebody. Both teams, I think, have struggled with drops throughout the year and accuracy. So really, you worry about those things after the fact. You just make sure that the ball gets into somebody's hands. But either way, I think this is going to be a pretty high-flying affair, and that's going to contribute to, in my opinion, another high-scoring matchup.
Yeah, and for Bama Central, this has been the Extra Point.